Hey everyone, I just want to do a brief talk about person-centered therapy. So this one's for the therapy geeks like me out there. When I first started into therapy, I remember thinking, oh, Carl Rogers stuff, that whole person-centered thing, that sounds boring. That doesn't sound like me. Now, by nature, I'm an extrovert. I'm an ENFP on Myers-Briggs, so you might know what that means. Basically, what it means is I love to teach and coach, and that's my energy. And yet, over the years, I have learned that there is such a deep art in being able to slow down and meet someone right where they're at. And that's very different than actually me thinking I know what they need and just trying to get them there. And so it's quite cool because it sounds like it might be, I think for some people they still use the word indirect. They're like, oh, the non-direct or indirect versus direct styles. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think it's, I don't think, I mean, even at the end of Carl Rogers' work, he used the word person-centered. So I think it's important to acknowledge that because there's a real art in being able to stay person-centered and be person-centered, and I'm still mastering it myself, even after 10 years of therapy and probably 8 years of being in specializing more in the focusing oriented style, which is person-centered. So what I would say is it's not about, I just want to bust this myth in case people think it's about being non-opinionated and being really I guess being weak, like seeing something and not being able to work with it. And maybe that's what it feels like when you first start into it, but what you'll find over time is that you actually start to realize, oh, I'm teaching something that is so unique by truly meeting and attuning with the person right where they are. I'm actually teaching them that, hey, right where they are is the place where there's give, there's forward energy, and they discover that through having another human fully attuned to them. So I don't know if that clicks with what you know about person-centered work, or if anything about that is interesting to you. Feel free to leave a comment. I just basically wanted to share that because I notice a lot in the Facebook page and things like that, people will say, oh, you need DBT for this, you need da-da-da for that, and I'm like, I don't think so. I don't see it that way. I really think that person-centered work has so much potential to go to a depth, especially if by nature, like me, you have a kind of coaching and teaching energy, that'll still come through. But if you can find time within a session where someone can really go deep into exactly what's true for them, and again, that can change over time, it will change. Like that edge is always evolving, but it only evolves if the person feels that the other can handle and hold what they are sharing and what is coming forward. So that's just a little suggestion that perhaps if you have some ideas on person-centered styles, you may, I know for me, I didn't know, I mean, I still haven't read on becoming, I haven't now, but I know I'm more open to it now because I know now that I've become more aware of its potential, and that sometimes what people mean when they talk about being direct or indirect, what they actually mean is when they're being direct, they're saying their opinion because they get anxious, and or they're sharing ideas, therapy ideas, because they're anxious, and so they want to put something forward and fill in the space. And just I mainly want to suggest that there's something about knowing you can hold it, trusting your own self that you can hold somebody's feelings or mixed emotions, and that the more you are with that in a therapeutic dynamic, if you're a therapist, then you will understand that, okay, there's actually a real relief here because I don't have to figure anything out. All I have to do is stay so close with the contact that I am making with their inner world. So if I can stay in contact with that place, then things can really open, and people will doubt in the moment that they're, say, allowed to feel that good, or that this is the work could be like this. It doesn't have to be so hard, that it actually could be just opening to what is true right now. But the more you can hold that stance that, yeah, this is it, this is, something's happening here, the more they'll begin to trust. And so that's just a few reflections. Yeah, again, let me know what you think. There's obviously so much that could be said about any therapy style, but my experience has been that the more wisdom I've accumulated, the more I kind of deepen in my understanding that you're not there to change somebody or to try to get them to see something. You're there to allow them to come deeply in contact with their own true experience of this moment, which frees up energy, any kind of energy that might be shame for not understanding their own problems, or, or embarrassment or guilt, or any kind of striving that's there, perfectionism, all that stuff kind of like falls aside when the person realizes that the work is to essentially, befriend their experience and to come closer to their experience. So that might make some sense or might be interesting, and I'm happy to talk more about it. If you're interested, feel free to write a comment about what you found helpful, and yeah, if you found anything helpful about this talk.